Okay, welcome everyone to Clinic's podcast on immigrant integration basics. I'm Ben Brokaw, and with me is my colleague, Laura Nino. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
Good, thanks. So today, Laura and I are going to briefly take you all through some of the core concepts around integration, including Clinic's definition of integration. We'll talk a little bit about why supporting and promoting integration in your community is important. We'll look at what integration is and what it looks like. And we'll talk about the important role that legal immigration service providers have to play in furthering integration in their communities. So with that, Laura, can you start by walking us through Clinic's definition of integration?
Absolutely. So, for those of you who may be unfamiliar with immigrant integration, Clinic defines it as an equal partnership between newcomers and the receiving community who are working together to make their community more inclusive. Immigrant integration aligns with Clinic's missions and values and that of Catholic social teaching, to promote human dignity, family, community, and welcoming the stranger. And I think it's also important to note I've seen integration be used interchangeably with assimilation. And it's important to highlight that they're actually not synonyms because integration is going beyond the concepts of assimilation that tend to imply the burden of changes on immigrants alone to adapt to the dominant culture. And with that said, I think immigrant integration is very important for communities, immigration legal service providers, nonprofits, faith leaders, and even our elected leaders to promote. Um, Integration kind of assesses and even helps address the unequal power dynamics that can occur in communities. When newcomers are getting established, seeking resources, or even just learning the ropes of day to day life here in the United States.
Laura, I think that's a good point. Integration can really help to address some of the inherent and unequal power dynamics within communities, right? So it offers community members quality, security, a sense of belonging, and access to essential resources and opportunities, right? So an integrated community is one that promotes these things, and it's one where everyone in the community can prosper and which makes the community better as a whole. But I think one of the challenges to promoting integration in your community and talking with individuals about how important it is in being able to point to concrete signs of integration and really knowing what it can look like.
Yeah, I agree. And that's something that I love and what I think is so unique about integration is that it can look very different from community to community. Of course, we have the national data that can help us define and measure integration. Just a quick example, the naturalization rates. During the 2019 fiscal year, there were over 840,000 naturalized citizens. So that's, just amazing. And, federal data, also shows us how much immigrants contribute to like federal taxes, state and city taxes, and so on. But we see, integration occurring more visibly at the local level. Um, and, it varies against, what the community needs. And even measuring it will be different. And it's very subjective to how, again, to address the needs and the gaps in services of the community. So it can look very different. Community events, it could be just having coffee conversations and so on. And with that said, I think nonprofits and immigration service providers, have a key role in promoting integration in their communities. They work on the ground directly with community members. They can serve as that bridge to bring, everyone together and to engage and at least begin that initial step of relationship building.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I think it's worth noting that much of the work that service providers already do within their own organization is inherently integration work. But that being said, as you mentioned they are uniquely positioned to promote and encourage integration more broadly within their community. And this really is for a couple of reasons, right? So service providers already have a trusted relationship with immigrant communities, and they have some of that insight into their specific needs and challenges. They also have established connections with other organizations in the community and people outside of immigrant communities. So, as you were saying, they can serve as that natural bridge between parts of the community. For immigration service providers, their main goal is to help promote better outcomes for their clients, both in the short term and in the long term. So the more that they can support integration efforts throughout the community, the more likely it is that immigrants' overall well-being will improve. And in our next podcast, Laura and I will talk about what integration initiatives and programming can look like for immigrant legal service providers within their organization and in their communities. So stay tuned for that. All right, well, thanks for joining us. Be sure to sign up for our integration newsletter and check out our other integration resources on our website at cliniclegal.org/integration.